Yeah. This bike is impressive.
What up, Block fam? Welcome to today's episode where we are here in beautiful Denver, Colorado, and in front of me is a line of Ducatis. So this is the Ducati XDiavel V4. Normally in these test ride videos, I'm going to tell you guys how the bike feels, how it makes me feel. We've got a beautiful route plan today. We're doing 180 miles?
About 193.
193? Yeah. That's a proper test ride.
That's a proper test ride, so it should give you 4.5 hours to try it out. My name is Richard Kenton. I'm the technical director for Ducati North America. My background has been in the motorcycle industry for many years. I joined them about 11 years ago. I'm a passionate Ducatisti. I've always liked the product, even when working for other brands.
So you guys have
it was
said
a natural evolution.
What is it?
Ducatisti.
Ducatisti, and you guys were saying that means like
yeah,
fan.
It's like family.
Family. Okay.
People who ride and appreciate our product. This is our XDiavel V4. So as part of the Diavel family, we've already seen the release of the Diavel V4, and this is a feet-forward power cruiser, which has star sophistication and performance. Some of the things that we've got with this bike is a state-of-the-art technical suite here, which you can see in the 6.9-inch 8:3 aspect ratio. We have traction control that's adjustable. We also have wheelie control, ABS, and Ducati Quickshift 2.0. We have great functionality, including power and torque functions, as well as a G meter, which is always fun. But the engine itself is 168 horsepower. That's
from the factory.
From the factory, and so you know it makes a lot of power, a lot of torque. The engine is designed using a different valve train to increase smoothness at low RPM with rear extended cylinder deactivation, which makes it better in urban scenarios. But then you have the top end and mid-range and performance for when you get into the twisty roads and you're going to have some fun. We've made this bike much more comfortable than the previous edition, focusing on suspension travel and seat comfort, as well as body positioning. So this should make it more appropriate for those people who want to go on longer rides.
What do we say, 2 more inches of foam here?
Yeah, there's definitely thicker foam. The seat here is increased in size compared to the previous edition because we know many of our clients like to use this to ride 2 up with their significant other. And then obviously we've got the fantastic 240 rear section, which gives you incredible drive, a new designed rear wheel, and the whole bike has been designed ground up as the new XDiavel.
It's beautiful. It looks like super just tough. The stance of it looks great. So we're gonna get to do a proper test ride on this thing. We'll give you guys thoughts and opinions during the ride, and afterwards, you know, we'll do like a whole final thoughts and all that stuff. But we've got some urban riding, some longer sweepers, some technical like mountain stuff. Throw a leg over this thing, we'll walk through controls, and yeah, twist the throttle.
All right, so let's get geared up, guys. So we got a quick run through there, but just a quick rundown. Right here, sitting in front of the bike, we've got inverted front forks, we've got dual disc front brakes, Brembos, front suspension is adjustable, LEDs, these are integrated into the body. One of the things I love is how they integrated the lighting here into the back. You know, this is like some aftermarket stuff. Normally all of this would be here, right? This is like a requirement for most motorcycles, but they usually design these so that you can get rid of them pretty easily. If you come over here, there's a couple bolts there and there, a couple Allens. So you're basically gonna do those, and I bet this harness disconnects. Yep, there's a electrical harness right there, and you would basically just take that off. So easy to delete that if you want to clean up the back. You've got your single-sided swing arm, traditional Ducati stuff, which really like leaves this one open. Beautiful. We got some Rosso 3s on it for rubber, 4-cylinder, but the firing order isn't 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, I think they said 2 of the cylinders fire at just about the same time. There also is a counter rotating crank, which helps with the gyroscopic kind of balance of the bike, which is pretty crazy. Like the details that they put into this thing, it's just wild. I'll show you guys some shots of me on the bike. I'm 5'10". Currently they have forwards on the bikes, so we'll go ahead and look at this one. You do have 3 positions of adjustment for these forwards, so 1, 2, 3. on both sides. They say that adjustment takes about 10 minutes, you know, just a couple bolts. You can also do a different setup where they have mids, and they move them back to here, so you've basically got a whole like new bracket that you can put on the back, and that is straight through Ducati. The color on this one was lava black. It's a nice metallic, but yeah, if you guys can see that, obviously the camera's going to pick it up a little bit differently. It's almost like a, not quite like a black cherry. And then they've got a more traditional Ducati red. 650E, how tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". How do you feel on this thing? Yeah, I mean, it actually looks like it fits you with like your foot up. Like, how's your knees feel? Up there, yeah? Yeah?
Not bad at all, man.
Yeah, okay. Looks good on you, man.
Thank you, man.
What was the red called again?
Ducati red.
Ducati. Burning red. There we go. I mean, you want to say Ducati red, but it's like, that's different. That's more of a flat, right? Like, this has like that really nice metallic. It's beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and throw a leg over these. We'll kind of walk through some controls. Look at the seat. Oh wow, that's seat height. You don't look at this bike and expect that, but my knees are bent. I'm flat footing this thing. That's crazy. So on button, you basically press that. I do have a fob in my pocket, so it is a keyless or wireless fob. So they said you can either turn it on like that or through here, which is your ignition. So off, on, or there. Beautiful color display. You've got your G meter, which we'll leave it on that for sure. So starting from the left, you've got clutch obviously over here. Here you've got lights. So pulling in would be like your pass light. So it indicates there, boop, boop, boop. You press out to keep the high beam on. And then you've got your mode button. That's going to change your ride mode. So you press that in, and whenever you press that in, it will bring up your ride modes here. So we're going to start in touring. You do have setup in each of the modes. So basically you could go into that and you can change the touring parameters. They do have them set as like a default. I'm going to leave them on the default just to see how they feel. You've got urban as well, wet. So that's going to be like a rain mode, and then sport. So we'll get into all of these as we're riding. We're going to go ahead and start with urban just because we're starting in downtown Denver. Over from the modes, you've got your hazards, so press that. Hazards come on, indicators there. This switch here is going to guide you through some of the menus, so up and down. You see you've got kind of a little indicator thing here. Trip, total, range, so you basically have your total mileage on the bike, so odometer, your trip, current trip counter. We'll reset that. Your range, so tank is 5 gallon? 5 gallon tank, right? Yep. So 5 gallon, what's a liter? This is America, bro. Yeah, so 5 gallon or 20 liter. Range, 198 miles, and then it'll show you your consumption as well. If we go down one, we're on trip 1. That'll have averages. Go down another. You've got your percentage of power, percentage of torque. Oh, that's cool. And then down another, you've got your G's. So we'll just kind of swap between these. Going down below that, you've got your indicators left, right. You press in to cancel. Below that, horn, beep. All right, so let's go ahead and start this thing up. It is in neutral. All right, so you push that up, which exposes the start button, and then you press start. Let's go ahead and adjust our mirrors. Oh man, I keep on thinking like to place feet here for mids. That would be cool. I don't know that we'd get quite the lean angle out of it though. We'll go ahead and display lean angle on the screen right here. Ooh, these brakes, oh, they're sensitive. Like I said, dual disc Brembos on the front. We also have Brembo Masters, so premium. Also hydraulic clutch, Brembo on the front. Quick shifter, yes. And auto flipper, or up and downshift. Easy to find neutral. Coming into neutral there, super quick. Damn, that is a touchy throttle. Sheesh. Friction zone on this thing it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. It's out there before the clutch starts to engage. I'm sure that's adjustable, but power delivery feels very smooth. I would imagine in yeah, I would imagine in sport mode, you know, that throttle response is gonna change quite a bit. Wow, that was a pretty gnarly bump, and this thing just glided right over it. That's impressive. That quick shifter feels so good. I am so surprised at the suspension. So it does have this big old meaty rear tire, but despite that rear tire, feels pretty good handling. Not difficult to throw around whatsoever. Yeah, so self-canceling indicators, that's awesome. I know it's like a little thing, but that's a big deal, especially on a metric bike. Wow. Is it one fast, muff? We'll get the opportunity to open it up a little bit more as we get outside of Denver and into the mountains. Like I said, this is just the initial, first initial thoughts, impressions. Thus far, impressed. It's comfortable, despite being kind of more on top of the bike from the looks of it, right? So Spite, probably 6'3", 6'4". You got 650 EB, 6'3". But you definitely feel locked in, you know, the ergonomics of it, the seat feels good. They're classifying this as a sport cruiser, which pretty much nails it. Ducati, known for their sport bikes for sure. I guess we can go ahead and go over gauge real quick as well. On the upper left, you've got your fuel level. We did kind of go over some of this stuff, gauge. In the center, you've got your RPMs, which are going around your gear indicator, and then it says that we're in touring mode. On the right, you've got your miles per hour. Upper right, you've got your time. Lower left, you've got your ambient air temp. It's a beautiful 73 degrees right now. Lower right, you have your coolant temp. We do have red line. It looks like 11.5 to 12,000 RPM. All right, getting up to speed a bit, so doing some highway speeds. Obviously, there's no windscreen on the front of this thing, so you are taking wind to the chest and to the helmet, but it's really not that bad because it's clean wind, and there's no dirty, turbulent air from the feel of my legs, the sides, the fairing and stuff, the tank and stuff here. Actually feels like it's pretty well protecting the legs. This bike would be sick with mids. I would love to feel this thing with mid controls. Some people might prefer forwards because they say on trips and stuff, touring might be a bit more comfortable, but like they said, sport cruiser, that sporty part definitely feels more sporty if you've got mids. Makes you feel a little bit more in tune, in touch with the bike. You can do similar with forwards, but it just doesn't quite feel the same. If you get down here, the wind's a lot better. But yeah, you're kind of just taking it to the helmet at that point. And since it has forwards, you know, you're kind of in a taco shape, just really crunched up. Hell yeah, leaning on this thing feels great. A couple little good bumps in the road and the turn, suspension's soaking it right up. All right, so cruise control is this whole setup on the interior, right? So on off, I think, is going to be the button here. You are going to have a little bit of an indicator here whenever you turn it on and off. So there we go, indicates there. And then to set it, I think you press up. Yep, there we go, set. 61 miles an hour. To cancel, you can roll forward on throttle or tap brakes. Let's go ahead and swap modes here. I think we're in touring, right? So let's go to urban. Select it, close throttle. There we go. All right, now it's in urban. So I was in touring. I would assume it's probably a bit more tame, a bit smoother than urban. All right, but for now, we're gonna enjoy the ride out of Denver and into the mountains. This bike is impressive.
So halfway point, let's check in with some of the others, see what their thoughts and opinions are so far. Dustin from Revzilla.
It's good. I really love how fluid the handling is. You know, the ergonomics are different, so you can change them. You know, it's adjustable, so I like that.
It's 1 o'clock, if you can hear by that bell. Great bike, very comfortable. I have yet to do a smackdown on it. I want to smack him down on it. So hopefully on the way back we can test that out.
Amazing how fast it is side to side. I would not have expected a bike with that long of a wheelbase and that wet weight, which is probably close to like 540, to feel that good. It's shocking how good it is side to side.
Handling on it is way, way better than what I would have thought. It gets, man. Whenever you're in those higher RPMs, it turns on. So hopefully no rain on the way back, knock on wood. Let's do a tour real quick of this hotel. Apparently, The Shining and Dumb and Dumber were filmed here. accepted our fate.
I should have thrown my adventure pants.
It's my prison name, Adventure Pants.
It's gonna be a little chilly on the way back.
Yeah, wet, cold, great experience. All right, so we're leaving the Stanley, back to the bikes, back to some rain, maybe?
And we're back on the bike. Some people saying we're gonna miss rain, some people saying we're gonna hit rain. We'll see what happens. Check it out, it started raining. It is cold rain too. 60 degrees right now. So this is pretty crazy. Whenever these things are wet, they make a lot of steam. I like it, it's warming me up. I'm squeezing my legs against the bike as much as I can because it is warm. Right in front of us, the Coors factory. If you guys ride motorcycles and you've ever been caught in the rain, you know there's different levels of like how wet you get, right? The first level is like, you know, just the surface, like the front of you will be wet, the back of you is dry. The second level is the front and the back of you are wet. The third level, you're wet. This is weird to say. Your sub layers start getting wet, right? So like your jacket's wet, but now your shirt is also wet. Your pants are wet, but now your underwear is also wet. There's the final layer, which is totally drenched, totally soaked, and that is when your socks are also wet. Luckily, I'm not quite to sock level yet. Right there though. Like I can feel it like slowly creeping, and like next level would be wet socks. Hotel, sweet hotel. 192.9 miles, 39.3 miles per gallon, average speed of 40 miles per hour, trip time of 4 hours and 55 minutes, and I'm soaking wet. I am going to get dry, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this motorcycle. I'm going. I am not built for the cold anymore. Dude, me neither. It sucks. Like my teeth chattering, actually. Nuts.
All right, guys, I am somewhat dried off. My clothes are still a little damp on my boots and pants, primarily, but thought I would go ahead and go over the Ducati XDiavel V4 Gran Turismo. My experience today, which was a hell of an experience with this bike, how would I summarize that? I was thoroughly impressed. I had no idea what to expect coming into this, not having any experience with the platform really previously. It was really refreshing, and it was kind of starting from a clean slate. I knew nothing about the motorcycle except for what they told me, you know, here and then what I read in the press, but specs on paper are, you know, exactly that. They're specs on paper. They don't tell you how a bike feels, right? How it leans, you know, how it accelerates, the torque, the horsepower, you know, how it shifts, all of that stuff. That's what this video is for, but I cannot encourage you guys enough, if you're interested in this motorcycle, to go test ride it yourself. Find a Ducati demo day, check out with your local dealer or whatever. You've got a friend that has one, see if they'll let you test ride it. I would highly recommend it. This bike really impressed me. I definitely prefer the red one over the burnt lava, but personal preference, this one really pops. On the downshifts, I could really hear that like low frequency rumble of this motorcycle, and it just sounded mean. The ergonomics, I was pleasantly surprised with the forward controls. So we basically had forwards, so they were up here. This one does have the mids. Honestly, I would have preferred the mids just because that's where I kind of naturally kept going with it. Whenever we would start from a stop, you know, I would kind of lift up my legs, and it just felt like that's where my feet were supposed to go. Having them in the front wasn't bad. Definitely one of those things that I personally would have changed. One of those questions that I always like to answer in these test ride videos is, 1, would you buy the motorcycle? And 2, what would you change about it? Because no motorcycle is perfect, right? One thing I would change about it is definitely moving those forwards to the mid position. But like I said earlier, Ducati does offer that from the factory, new bracketry and all that stuff, which moves everything back. Another thing I would change about it is the grips. There were certain portions where, this is gonna sound really stupid, but the grips, they almost felt like too grippy. There were times where I like went to go let them go, and like you could feel like a stickiness. I don't know if that was just the grip that I had on my bike. It did look like it was twisted a bit, so I don't know if that was like the adhesive or what. Yeah, I would definitely swap out the grips to something that was a little bit more compatible, like with my gloves. The seat is usually one of those things that I go to, but I was actually pleasantly surprised with the seat. This was really comfortable. And like they said, this is 50% larger for a passenger if you're gonna have a passenger on this thing. If you do have a passenger on this thing, Godspeed to them, or Ducati speed to them, because I could not imagine being on the back of this motorcycle. The power is just insane. Horsepower and torque numbers right there on the screen. Whenever it was tamed down, you know, and you had, like, I stayed between urban mode and sport mode. So I would highly recommend sport mode. Increases that throttle response. It makes it feel a bit more normal, like most other bikes I've ridden. Urban mode, muted it, tamed it down a bit. I did try out rain mode, but even when we were in the rain, I didn't use rain mode, I used urban mode because it was still muted enough that it was very, very predictable. One of the things of feedback I did have is, and I heard somebody else talking about this as well, is that the engagement for the clutch lever was pretty far out. So a couple people were stalling. Once you got used to it, it was all good. I do think these are adjustable, so you can probably change it up a little bit, adjust that on the clutch lever. Another thing that did take a little bit of getting used to was finding where this bike performed well, where it was happy. So if you were too low of a speed, but like in a high gear, you know, like if you're going 35, but you were in 4th gear, you could tell the bike did not like that. So essentially, you were kind of in that range of potentially lugging the engine. Each motorcycle is different, but a lot of them that I'm used to, it's not quite the same power band as this is. I did find myself where I would kind of like start to get back on throttle. It would just feel unhappy, and so I'd have to downshift. Also, another thing I had to get used to, the quick shifter and the auto blipper was amazing. Once you got used to it, it also did not like being used really in lower RPMs, which was totally expected. Most manufacturers out there that have quick shifter up and down auto blippers, as a lot of them call them, they don't really perform well in low speed, and then you have to like really, really press sometimes. Taking some of those sweepers, taking some of those corners, it worked amazing. It was only during the lower RPM stuff that it would be a little bit finicky. Quick shifter auto blipper on a motorcycle really, really makes you feel like your skill level is way more than what it usually is. Seriously, Valentino Rossi type shit. You know, as you're coming into a sweeper and you're like, okay, I need to brake a little bit now, but then also I'm gonna throw engine braking in by downshifting, and it's like boom, 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 you know, like rev matches for you. It's cool. Ergonomics, I would maybe adjust the seat a little bit. I was pleasantly surprised with those forwards. Like I said, I would do mids. The bars I was totally fine with. It did take me a little bit to get used to the controls and the startup sequence. The startup sequence was basically turn it on here or here. So I left that on. So I just pressed that button to turn it on. You flip that up and then you press and hold to start it. After you get that sequence down, all good, no worries. The braking on this thing is amazing. Literally one finger and I would barely touch the front brake with one finger and it would stop it plenty. For the most part, I wasn't even using front brake on a lot of stuff. I was using just rear brake, which also performed amazing. The suspension, also amazing. Soaked up some gnarly bumps, very confidence inspiring, going around these sweepers at like very high speeds. Soak up the bumps, you know, not too bouncy, not too stiff. They did adjust that for my weight beforehand, so it is adjustable in the front and the rear. I'm not sure if they adjusted the front. I do know they adjusted the rear. Overall, I was super impressed with this motorcycle. Like I said, starting from that clean slate. If you guys do have any questions on it based on my experience here, do me a favor, drop your questions in the comments down below. I'd just like to Give a big thanks to Ducati for including me in on this. I really, really appreciate it. This is the first time I've ever worked with them, and it has been an absolute pleasure. Once again, that is because of you guys, y'all hitting the like button, hitting subscribe, supporting us how you do, shows these manufacturers that, you know, there's value in the brand, our community, and that's why they invite us to stuff like this. So thank you guys, greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, do me a huge favor. Be sure to hit the like button, it lets YouTube know that we're doing a good job. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon also, so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Until next time, ride safe out there, stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one.